you're just here for the ride, literally, because we're in a freaking car today. So you're wondering how to have a positive mindset. Well, if I tell you that I have a positive mindset, it doesn't mean that I'm constantly thinking positively about every single thing. It is just that I find the good within the things we define as bad. But what do we define as good and bad as humans? Are the things that are happening to us that we deem as bad really bad for us, or is it just what we have conditioned ourselves to believe? For example, if it started raining right now, I could say, oh, I am so disappointed that the weather ruined my beautiful day because it was a sunny day before. I can either deem it as bad, or I can look at it as an opportunity. I can look at it as an opportunity to do the things that I've been putting off, to go home and clean my house, do a good workout, read a good book, journal, meditate, whatever the activity is that I've been putting off indoors, I can finally do it because this is the opportunity for me to do so. In life, we have these little moments that we deem as good or bad, but all moments are really just opportunities. If it's raining, that doesn't mean that I can't have a good day. It just means I can have a different type of a good day. So when something bad happens to you that you deem as bad, then there might be a hidden truth, a hidden good opportunity, a hidden growing point, a hidden good thing within that bad thing. If you missed the bus to the place you wanted to go, is it really something that ruined your day, or maybe it was something that saved your day? The same as I talked about in my previous video about patience. Like, if you're waiting at the grocery store and you have to wait there for a long time, is it really a bad thing, or is it an opportunity? Is it a blessing in disguise? You don't know that. You don't know that before you are in that situation, because some things are truly a blessing in disguise for us, but we can't see it because we as humans want to define things. What if today you stopped defining bad things as bad and started seeing them as an opportunity? If you're going to meet with someone and you miss the bus, then look at it as an opportunity to go over the things that you wanted to talk about with that person. And then you can go to that meeting with a clear mind. So if you start looking at the situations you previously deemed bad as simply situations, then your perspective on having an optimistic outlook in life will shift to accepting experiences for what they are, because ultimately there is no good or bad as we humans deem it, because we just like to define things so that we can put them in a box in our heads, but that doesn't mean that the experience itself is necessarily that. That is kind of how you can start thinking more optimistically about your life. Now, when I say I'm a positive person, it doesn't mean that I'm happy all the time. It just means that I find the joy in the small things, that I find the goodness, that I find the happiness. If you look for the happiness, then I guarantee you, you will find it so much more easily. But if you're not even looking for it, then of course it'll be hard for you to find the good things in life. Of course you will be sitting there and wondering why bad things are happening to you. Of course you will be freaking out whenever a minor inconvenience happens. For example, if your internet is not working, if your car isn't working, whatever, you will be so upset at that little thing that you can't even think clearly. Like, seriously, there are so many bitter people I know that just can't find the goodness in things, and they resent people like me because they think that I'm so happy all the time and everything is always so good for me and this and that. Like, no, I just make it good. I make everything in my life good because I choose to make it good. I didn't get a position at my job that I really, really wanted to get. You know what? I found the good in that situation. I understood that that wasn't for me. And that led me to making YouTube videos. If I had gotten that position that I wanted, I wouldn't be here today, because my ambition would have been directed to a different place, and my energy would be directed to a different place, which means that when I'm sitting here right now and my energy is directed to this, then I can give it my all. If I had gotten that position, you know what? I would not be here today making videos. I wouldn't have fulfilled one of my dreams. Because you see, rejection isn't really rejection. It's just redirection. You've probably heard this one before, but it is so true. It's directing you to do something better. When we talk about being positive, we have to talk about manifestation a little bit. Because if you want to see the world as a better place and not be defined by all the bad things that are happening around us, then you have to kind of also rewire your brain with affirmations and manifestation. There are so many techniques, so many ways to do it. Let's just talk about a few that I've personally enjoyed on my journey. The first one is your own self-image. When I was growing up, I had really big ears. So when I had big ears, I was so deeply depressed. I was sitting at home in front of the mirror crying for hours, and it just didn't seem to stop. I just couldn't get over it. No matter how much I told myself that I'm beautiful and I'm this and that, I just could not get it through my head. So if you want to manifest good things, if you want to affirm your brain good things, if you want to rewire your brain to think more positively, you can simply start by telling yourself that I used to think that I am not worthy of love, but now I know that I am. And that is a very simple technique to start rewiring your brain to think more positively about things. So there are so many different things you can start thinking about in this way. If you have that negative thought, then in that moment where you want to continue the old belief pattern, you just have to think those thoughts. Recently, I had a situation where we were talking about some things with someone, and I told them something very personal, which they got a little upset about. I felt like I was responsible for their own well-being, but actually they are responsible for how they feel and react to things. So we were literally sitting right next to each other with this person, and I said to them, okay, listen, this situation is giving me anxiety right now, so I will just have to take a moment, take a deep breath, close my eyes, and say a few affirmations to myself, because otherwise I will be so anxious for the rest of the day that I cannot think about anything else. And what I did is I closed my eyes. I told myself, I used to think that I am responsible for other people's emotions, but I know now that I am not. I am only responsible for my own emotions and my emotional well-being. I cannot control how other people react to certain situations, and it is not my responsibility to take care of their emotions. And that's what healed me in that situation. It's rewriting the thought patterns that you have. Yes, if I have made a mistake, of course, that is a different thing, because then I will admit to myself that I made a mistake and to that other person, and I will take the responsibility. But if it's a situation where they overreact, let's say, out of jealousy or hatred or whatever other negative emotion, then that is not my responsibility, because it is their own responsibility to take care of their emotions. And that is how affirmations can start changing your life, because you are literally rewiring your brain. You are literally rewiring your thoughts. It is not some magical, mythical thing. It is literally scientifically proven that it rewires your brain. It creates new neural pathways for your brain to develop a new way of thinking. So if you want to be more positive, then just start by rewriting those patterns in your brain. Okay, so I promised one of my commenters that I will talk a little bit about quantum physics. Now, first off, I want to recommend this book to you. It is called The Divine Matrix by Gregg Braden. It is one of the best books that I have ever read. Like seriously, it's one of the best books. And it's so weird because every person that I've shown this book to has been like, oh my god, I want to read this book. In short, in this book, he has brought different examples that particles are still connected even though they aren't in the same space. So they had taken different DNA examples of soldiers. They have placed the DNA samples in one room, the soldiers in a different room, and then the soldiers were shown different pictures or movies or something that brought up certain emotions. For example, joy or sadness or hatred. And then they tested if those particles still react to these emotions. And what they found is that the DNA cells taken from these soldiers reacted at the same time that the person did. So if they showed them a picture of, let's say, a puppy and it made them really happy and smiling, then the DNA would also react in that way at the same time as the person. Although officially these experiments ended, then unofficially scientists continued these experiments, and they found that if there was even thousands of miles difference between the person and the DNA cell, then the cell would still react the same at the same time. Now, what does that show us about being positive? How does that even help us? That shows us that you literally have the opportunity to influence the world around you with your behavior, because cells are still connected to each other. And we are all connected to one another in one way or the other, whether we like it or not. That's why people have these same exact thoughts at the same time, or sometimes you and your friend might say something at the same time. That's just a small example of how the matrix and the quantum field works. But I really want to get more deeper into this in a separate video. But I just wanted to mention that your thoughts create your reality and your actions shape it. So you kind of have to do both. You have to think about the positive things, and you have to start rewiring your brain so that you can act differently next time, which will lead you to living a more happy and fulfilled life, because you will start to notice the better things in life. You will start to notice the good things. It's about noticing and being aware. It's not about just being positive all the time or becoming this person. It's just a different way of thinking that you can train yourself to do if you want. I hope the takeaway from this video is that you can have a better and positive life through your thoughts, through the way you look at the world, through how your brain works, through how you rewire your brain with just this one simple action of affirming to yourself that this belief used to be mine, but now we don't think about this. Because to your brain, it's more easily acceptable to say that we used to believe it, but now we don't, instead of, I just now believe that good things are always happening, because it's a bit like new for your brain, and your brain might not accept that it is real. So if you simply say that I used to think like this and now I think like that, then it is much more easier for your brain to accept it. Just try it out and see the difference that happens in your life. I do hope that you will at least give it a chance so that you can live a more positive life. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm always so happy to see the feedback, see the comments. Like, even if it's a negative comment, it's still a comment. It's still someone who watched the video and has something to say, and I value that, so thank you. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to hear about next, and see you in the next video.